Looking forward to game week 36 and look it back at my shocking, absolutely shocking game week 35. Let's get into it. G'day, mate. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another FPL video. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at my game week 35 absolute nightmare and looking forward to double game week 36 where two teams double. Firstly, we'll just look back at game week 35 in which was literally a horrible game week. Ended up on 28 points, dropped about 30k, which actually wasn't too bad. But the thing to note was 10.1 million game week rank, which is literally probably one of the worst out there. I don't know how many players is, but I think there's about 10 million, 11 million at max. So absolutely shocking. I'll go through my team quickly. So Kepa with 2 points, and he did make 3 saves as well. So he did end up at 3. Alexander-Arnold, which was my highest scorer, with a clean sheet and a bonus. Estupinan conceded 5, ended up on 0. Trippier conceded 2, ended up on 1. March didn't start the game that Brighton lost 5-1 and got injured, so came off, ended up on 1 point. Matoma did end up to get an assist, but it should have been a goal. He hit the post, bounced off the post and hit McAllister on the back of the head. A lot of people do have McAllister, so just one of them things, I guess. Just absolutely horrible to watch that. To watch a player think you've scored and it's actually the player that is you don't own, that is most people do own, like as an alternative. Yeah, really horrible. Disappointment from the United boys. Just no returns from Fernandes and Rashford. Man United got outplayed in that game too, so I'm a little bit worried about their away form. But they do have 3 home games, so I'm hoping that they can pull it around. Isaac also disappointed. So he did play 90 minutes and he blanked against Arsenal. I did expect Newcastle to win that game too, so disappointing there. Haaland missed sitter after sitter against Leeds. Also should have taken him, scored a penalty, but Gundogan wanted to get his hat-trick, which was very unprofessional in my opinion, and Haaland should have been on for at least a 6, 7, 8 pointer. Watkins, 1 point, yellow card, no goals. That is how many blanks is that for him now? 4 blanks in a row, which is not great. But yeah, he'll be out very, very soon, or at least be sitting on the bench. Luckily, there was no points on the bench. So Raya 3, Shaw 2, Grealish 0, Botman 1. Anyway, let's get on to the next game week because I can't keep thinking about this one. It's been absolutely shocking. Probably the worst score out there. If you did score worse, let me know in the comments below because it will make me feel a little bit better and we can kind of talk about our misery together. Let's get into double game week 36. Thankfully, that is all from game week 35. So let's move on to double game week 36. I have decided to start Kepa over David Raya. That is because I feel like the fixture is much, much better. I know Chelsea are terrible, even though they did win the other day. I just feel like Forest are even worse away from home. They are shocking. And to be fair to Chelsea, they actually haven't been that bad defensively. Kepa has collected 9 clean sheets this season. So for me, that's pretty good. So we've gone for Kepa. Trippier and Botman, so 2 Newcastle, double up in defence. Not ideal with the amount of conceding at the moment. They conceded, well, when I say amount, they actually don't concede that many goals, but they concede kind of 1 every game almost. Well, since the World Cup, definitely. I'm just hoping Trippier and Botman can keep clean sheets and Trippier can get an assist or even a goal, hopefully. His goal threat is actually not that great. He's only got 1 goal this season, but he has got 7 assists and his expected assists do look pretty good. So against Arsenal, 0.34, so not the best. 1.13 against Southampton in game week 34. 0.39 against Tottenham. 0.3 against Brentford, 0.59 against Man United. So hopefully He can get an assist, please. So they do have Leeds away, Brighton at home. So Leeds game is probably where you're hoping to get most of your points. Brighton at home is a tough game. Brighton did get smashed by Everton recently, so who knows what could happen in that game. They'll both be fighting for Europe. So I do feel like it'll be a tight game. Hopefully a 0-0, as I do have Estupinan with Arsenal away and obviously Newcastle away. I'm not expecting much from him. If he can get an assist or he can get one clean sheet, I'll be over the moon with that. So that'll be 4 plus say another 4, which should be 8. If he can get to 8 to 10 points, I'll be over the moon with Estupinan. Hopefully he can do that. And let's move on to a more exciting part of the team, the midfield. So the 2 Brighton boys are in my team. They're in my starting 11. So if you have noticed, I have taken out Solly March and brought in McAllister. It is the boring move, but I think it is the smart move. As mentioned in the video earlier on in the week, I do feel like McAllister probably is the best Brighton asset at the moment. Although he hasn't been playing that number 10 role as much recently, which is why we all, well, not me, but most of the people brought him in earlier on in the season. He is still getting shots around the box, penalties, and literally the other day he got a header on the line. So he does get in good positions. 5.5 million. I just think it's just an easy no-brainer move. 2 double game weeks coming up, probably nailed. So yeah, McAllister's in. Matoma, again, I mentioned this in the earlier video of mine. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. Transfer tips video. He's only got 1 assist since game week 29. That is not good, but he is cheap and he's got 2 double game weeks coming up. So hopefully he can do the business. Although I do fancy Brighton to lose both these games, even though I think the Newcastle one will be tight. I actually fancy them to score. I don't think Arsenal or Newcastle's defence has been that great these past few weeks, these past probably few months, I'd say, since the turn of the year. So I do expect Brighton to score. I'm just hoping it can be Matoma or McAllister. They have so many attacking options, like 3 decent strikers, like loads of wingers, loads of number 10s, that it could be anyone. I'm just hoping it is Matoma and McAllister. So I have decided to start Grealish. Obviously, he did get benched against Leeds in the last game week. I am a little bit worried as they do have Real Madrid midweek and the midweek after as well. So I am really worried about Grealish. Hopefully, if he doesn't play, he stays on the bench like he did against Leeds, and then Trent can come on, who's my first sub, which I'm more than happy to play Trent. I might even decide to do that switch if we get an inkling or Jack Grealish gets injured in the Champions League game. I'm more than happy to play Trent. So yeah, we'll leave that one there for now. But yeah, Trent is an option, and to be honest, I could even bring in Trent over Grealish to play. But at the moment, we'll leave it as Grealish. Fernandes and Rashford, United, 2 home games. United do really well at home. Fernandes has got 2 returns in his last 4 games, which is not bad. But before that, he's been shocking. So I'm hoping for him to repay my faith in him. He kind of blocked my move to Salah, so I'm a bit annoyed about that. But hopefully he can make up for it in this game week and in the double game week in 37. Again, Rashford, 3 returns in his last 4 and about 2 blanks in his last 2. So I'd say slowing down a little bit. But home game, Wolves, I fancy United to do well. And I do need to bounce back after 2 defeats on the trot. Only 1 win in the last 4. So I fancy United to win this game and Rashford and Fernandes to do really, really well. Let's move on to the forwards. So we'll start with Erling Haaland with Everton away. Again, just like Grealish, could be benched. They do have Real Madrid midweek, but I don't feel like they can afford to rest Haaland. Arsenal did win against Newcastle, so they are only 1 point behind them now. I know City have a game in hand, but Pep will not want to let that slip and rely on that game in hand. They can afford to draw 2 games. out of their last 4. So really, they only need 2 wins. And with Chelsea, Brighton, and Brentford coming up, 3 away games out of the last 4, I'm sure they're going to want to get that win early on and beat Everton. So although Haaland could get rested, I feel like Pep won't rest on his laurels and he will want to get this league won. Isaac will be my captain. Leeds away, Brighton at home, as I've mentioned. I do feel like he's the best option. The only reason I haven't gone Trippier's advice is, say, I don't know, I'm a bit scarred with the COVID season with other cancellations that, say, if one game gets cancelled, then I'll end up captaining him a single game week player. I know that could happen with Brighton. It could be the Brighton Newcastle fixture that gets cancelled, and then Brighton end up with a single game week. But for me, that's a bit more of a 50-50 because it could be the Leeds game. So that's why I've gone for the Brighton as vice captain and Isaac as captain. I do feel like he is the best captain option. Like I said, Newcastle have been scoring a lot of goals recently, and Isaac does look really, really threatening, and he should have scored against Arsenal. So that was my team for Double Game Week 36. Let me know below what you think of it. Who's your captain? What are your transfers? And what do you think your score is going to be for this week? Let me know in the comments below, and good luck for the game week.